All right, Shalom. First, I'd like to start by saying all praise to Yahweh by Shemal Shai. Double honors to the elders and apostles that rule well, and salutations to the brothers that's doing the truth with sincerity. Now, this is just an update on a legislation that that Trump passed. So I'm gonna go ahead and get right into it. This is Trump to undo Obama era limits on military style gear for U.S. police. It said President will soon order to revive program that provides departments with surplus military equipment such as high caliber weapons and armored vehicles. It says Barack Obama issued the order to limit the surplus program in the wake of public outrage over police response to protests in Ferguson, Missouri, and elsewhere following the shooting of Michael Brown. All right, it says U.S. police will again have access to high caliber weapons, grenade launchers, heavily armored vehicles, and other surplus military equipment that the Obama administration had limited after critics said its use was militarizing the police and inflaming confrontations with protesters, often in racially sensitive situations. Right. So, that was the whole goal, man, was to militarize the police to begin with, because they trying to get ready for this New World Order. They doing their little test drills and everything. The elites keeping this racial division going and everything to help kick off the race wars and whatnot, man. Because it's biblical prophecy. It says Donald Trump plans to sign an order undoing the Obama era directive. The U.S. Attorney General Jeff Sessions on Monday told a national convention of the Fraternal Order of Police, one of the groups that have urged Trump to revive the military program. It says on Sunday night, the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, NAACP, said the move was part of the Trump administration's open effort to escalate racial tensions in our country. Yeah, and it did help. Because they still gunning Jake down. Now they got heavier weapons to use on Jake. And not only is racism going on, as far as Jake getting gunned down, and then they using all that extra brutality. It's a lot of racial divide within the force also. But that's all scriptural, man. The Lord wants that type of stuff to happen because we are at the end of this white man society. So I'm going to bring out the scripture. This is Isaiah chapter 13. Let me see. I'm going to start at Isaiah chapter 19, verse 2. It says, and I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians. Right, you people are known as Egyptians because y'all take after the philosophies of Egypt. And they shall fight everyone against his brother and everyone against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom. Right, so, that's the race riots. And it ain't nothing the NAACP can do, to stop, what's coming and what's going to happen, man. Because as you can see, Obama, scaled it back and blocked certain weapons from being entered in. Then who came out? The devil. Nope, kind of forth the agenda. This is Isaiah 13 and 15. Nope, 14. It says, and it shall be as the chaste roe, and as a sheep that no man taketh up. They shall every man turn to his own people and flee one to his own country. Right, so nationalities gonna return to their nationalities and flee everyone to his own land. And a lot of the nations that's in this land gonna go back to their own countries. Everyone, example, the Arabs shutting down gas stations, going back to their homeland, whichever one it may be. It says everyone that is found shall be thrust through, but anyone that's found of our people gonna be killed because it's a lot of jakes on that police force that's helping these white people out, and them holding hands with them, they gonna be killed. and everyone that is joined unto them shall fall by the sword. Right. So let me read this again. It says, and it shall be as a chase roll and a sheep that no man taketh up. Right, that chase roll is them race riots. The Lord gonna be putting a spirit on Jake to fuck these crackers up in that day, man. It says, they shall every man turn to his own people and flee, everyone into his own land. Everyone that is found shall be thrust through, right? So anybody found holding hands with these Edomite devils gonna be killed, and everyone that is joined unto them shall fall by the sword. Right. So, then them trying to them WACP trying to, prevent this bill from being signed legislation. It ain't gonna happen. This is all a part of the elite's agenda, man. All right, it says back to the article. It says in 2015, Barack Obama issued an executive order that severely limited the surplus program, partly as a result of public outrage over the use of military gear during protests in Ferguson, Missouri, following the shooting death of 18-year-old Michael Brown. Right, so it was a part of the least agenda to bring in this military gear, and let's make a statement. Yeah, I forgot what I was going to say about that also. But let me continue. It says police in Ferguson responded in riot gear and deployed tear gas, dogs, and armor. Right, you people forgetting that, a lot of you people don't even know that y'all had already been declared terrorists, and that according to the Patriot Act, according to I forget the exact legislation, but America is also a battlefield, man. So that works hand in hand. So them bringing out the works on y'all ass is just them getting prepared for the real battle to come, which is gonna be them race riots, man. And it's gonna get worse. It's gonna be worse. It's gonna be hell. It's gonna be all hell out here, man. But it says police in Ferguson responded in riot gear and deployed tear gas, dogs, like during slavery, and armored vehicles. And Jake them came out there with no arms and armored vehicles. So it is bringing out that racism. It says at times they also pointed assault rifles at protesters. Yep. It says Obama's order prohibited the federal government from providing grenade launchers and bayonets, tracked armored vehicles, weaponized aircrafts and vehicles, and firearms and ammunition of 50 caliber or greater to police. Right. So he scaled it back a little bit. Don't bring out the works and shit. But eventually, Trump in office now, all that stuff gonna come out and it's gonna be used when these race riots kick off. When these famines kick off, when martial law is the title, when that kicks off, So they're just getting their police force ready, man. It says as of December, the agency overseeing the program had recalled at least 100 grenade launchers, more than 1,600 bayonets, and 126 tracked vehicles. Those that run on continuous tank-like tracks instead of wheels that were provided through the program. And, they also got tanks, getting ready for you people, waiting on you people. It says Trump's new order will fully restore the program, under which assets that will otherwise be scrapped can be repurposed to help state, local, and tribal law enforcement better protect public safety and reduce crime. Documents first reported by U.S. Today stated. Right, so the elites know that it's going to be chaos in the streets coming to a theater near you, because they enacting laws, ahead of time. One, two, they creating they going under the I forget how you say the word, but yeah, they going under the agenda of auto ab KO, and they making this stuff, this disorder happen so they can bring in the order. When they take away public welfare, Schools, stamps, the social services, the austerity and implementing austerity measures. How you think the people gonna react, man? So as they was taking this stuff away, they was passing the laws on using they police force as a military, as well as letting other nations, the United Nations, passing legislation for them to get involved, so on and so on, man. But this is Second Ezra chapter 15, verse 15. It says, "For the sword and the destruction draweth nigh." That's talking about to America. America ultimately going to be destroyed. It says, "And one people shall stand up to fight against another." That's the race riots, and swords in their hands, right? Them weapons, from guns, knives, it doesn't matter. "For there shall be sedition among men, uprisings against the government." So they're going to need these police forces to help them out. "And invading one another," home invasions, "they shall not regard their kings nor princes," right? So they're going to have to try to, these leaders going to, this police force, going to have to try to protect the kings and the princes of this world, the senators, the governors, the actors, the rap stars and shit, those who and that's in that inner circle that's gonna be plugged with this type of stuff, man. And that's all gonna happen around the time of martial law. It says, "And the course of their action shall stand in their power." Right? So yeah, people gonna be able to do what they want to do in that day, man. So Trump, the elites already getting them prepared, man. It's all of the will of Yahweh Shema Shadow, because it's in the scriptures. It says, "Trump and Sessions are enacting a law and order agenda in which federal support of local police is seen as key to driving down violent crime." It says, "National police organizations have been pushing Trump to hold his promise to once again make the equipment available to local and state police departments, many of which see it as needed to ensure officers are not put in danger when responding to active shooter calls and terrorist attacks." And America is the ones that start these terrorist attacks, It says, "An armored vehicle played a key role in the police response on the December 2015 mass shooting in San Bernardino, California." It says, "In 1990, Congress authorized the Pentagon to give surplus equipment to police to help fight drugs, which then gave way to the fight against terrorism." And that was all a setup anyway from the beginning. It says, "Trump vowed to rescind Obama's order in a written response to a fraternal order of police questionnaire that helped him win an endorsement from the Organization of Rank and File Officers." Salakia. All right, it says, from the Organization of Rank and File Officers, he reiterated his promise during a gathering of police officers in July, saying that the equipment still on the street is being put to use. "In fact, that stuff is disappearing so fast we have none left," Trump said. The NAACP Legal Defense Fund said in a statement on Sunday night that it is exceptionally dangerous and irresponsible for the administration to lift the ban. "Just a few summers ago, our nation watched as Ferguson Slovakia. It says, as Ferguson raised the specter of increased police militarization. The group said the law enforcement response there and in too many places across the country demonstrates how perilous, especially for black and brown communities, a militarized police force can be. The president's decision to make this change in the wake of the tragedy in Charlottesville and against a backdrop of frayed relations between police and communities of color further reflects this administration's now open effort to escalate racial tensions in our country. It says the documents reported by USA Today said Trump's order will emphasize public safety over the appearance of the heavily equipment. They describe much of the gear as defensive in nature, intended to protect officers from danger. It says the Justice Department declined to comment on the expected move. Most police agencies rarely require military equipment for daily use, but see a need to have it available, said Chuck Wexler, executive order of the Police Executive Research Forum. It said it is hard to imagine any situation where a grenade launcher or bayonet would be something that a major police force department would need, but defensive shields and armored vehicles kept on reserve will be welcome. And they already have a lot of these armored vehicles and these military tanks and all that stuff. They just now putting it out in legislations. It says Sessions has said he believes boosting moral among people can help curb spikes in violence in some cities. The plan to restore access to military equipment comes after Sessions has said he intends to pull back on court enforceable improvement plans with troubled police departments, which he says can mainline entire agencies and make officers less aggressive on the street. It says consent decrees were a hallmark of the Obama administration's efforts to overhaul certain law enforcement agencies, sometimes after racially charged encounters like the one in Ferguson. So, with Trump, enacting this legislation, man, it's, just all a part of biblical prophecy. Because, like it said in the Apocrypha, man, it's going to be all out race wars, and they getting ready for it. Not only are they getting ready for it, the people getting ready for it. But this is Revelation chapter 12, verse 12. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Talking about you people. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth, destruction unto them, and of the sea. For the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath. And this is his example of having great wrath. Because he knoweth that he have but a short time. When Obama, Trump, the Bushes, or George Bush, enacted the Patriot Act, under Obama, declared further the Patriot Act as far as the years came out with the Patriot Act 2, if I'm not mistaken, then declared America a battleground, from there, militarizing the police, this all was in a set agenda, to help bring in this new world order ultimately, man. But that's how Satan come down. That's how Edomite is coming down, having great wrath, because he implemented the laws. He gave the police the weapons. Now he's testing certain weapons out and testing the police force out on you niggas and you crackers, because crackers get it too. On all the 12 tribes of Israel, he practicing, and then everything gonna kick off. But he know he got a short time to do it. So he's been enacting and making moves as fast as Yahweh Shai want him to, man. So, but yeah, I'm gonna end it there, man. Let me see if I got something else I can bring out. Yeah, I got something else I can bring out. Because, Jake need to understand what time we in. A lot of Jakes understand, though, and a lot of them don't understand. A lot of them are not going to get with the program, even though they understand. But we're in a time of war, like the scriptures say. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 3, I'm gonna start at verse 1. It says, "To everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven." Right. So you got to know what season we in, man. It says, because I'm finna jump. It says, verse 8, a time to love. We ain't in the time of love right now. And a time to hate. We in the time of hate. So there's racial tension and all that extra shit. That's good. It's lined up with the prophecies. These white people hate, these Edomites hate you Jakes, man. You know, and shit. It's gonna spawn a race war. But everybody gonna be involved in this race war, man. It's gonna be blacks helping whites, whites versus whites, Latins versus Latins, all of that. Just know that we in a time of hate. We ain't in a time of love. We ain't in that time, man. It says a time of war. We in a time of war, and a time of peace. We are not in a time of peace. We're in a time of war, man. So, with that being said, all praise to Abba Shai. Double honors to the elders and apostles that rule well. And salutations to the brothers that's doing the truth with sincerity. Shalom.